Thank you so much for subscribing to my website. I wanted to offer a free short practice for the holidays. This time of year tends to be filled with an enormous amount of pull in one direction or another, feeling that need to give, but also often feeling very depleted and drained in the process. So it's important that we cultivate within ourselves that sense of compassion and gratitude, deep understanding and empathy, so that we can project that and share that with the people around us. So in this very short introductory practice to yoga on your time, I'll be focusing on the hips and pelvis, opening of the heart, balancing of the breath. So this practice can be adapted to being on a mat. You don't even necessarily need a mat to practice this, so if you're traveling, you can take it with you. And also I'm going to show a few alterations that you can do without needing to be on the floor or on your knees, if that's a modification that you need. So let's get started. We're going to start lying down on our backs. I have a bolster here. You could use a pillow or a blanket, or you don't need anything at all. I'm going to go ahead and bend the knees. If this feels like too much on the inner thighs or knees, you can stretch the legs straight out. We're going to lean back either onto a bolster, blanket, or just directly onto the floor. I love starting my yoga practice laying down on my back. I feel like it's a wonderful opportunity to really tune in without any distractions from the body. An opportunity to focus on calming and quieting the mind and deepening the breath. So begin to tune in to the natural inhale and exhale rhythm of your breath. Beginning by sensing your skin and how it connects with the external environment. Deepening the awareness below the skin of the tissue. Feeling any sensations that are running right underneath the skin. Feeling the connection and support of the ground beneath you. This pose can also be done laying on a couch or a bed if that feels more accessible to you. Just really allowing the body to fully relax, soften, surrender, and release. Going deeper beyond the skin, tissue down into the muscular system. Notice if there are areas of the body that are holding more than others. And when you discover those areas, instead of having expectations and judgments, allow that sense of compassion, understanding, empathy to freely run through those areas of your body or mind. Starting to unlock our natural ability to cultivate these caring, loving emotions within ourselves. Going deeper, beginning to sense the beating of your heart, the accompaniment of your heart and breath as it leads you on every step of your journey on this earth. Uncovering some gratitude for the consistency of the body, consistency of the breath. Keeping that deep awareness. Begin to stretch the legs if the knees are bent. Stretch the arms up above the head. Big in-breath through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Let that breath roll you onto your right side. Using the arm to support the head. Maybe feeling the breath in the back of the body more acutely here. Using the hands on the next inhale to push your way up to seated. Moving away any pillows or bolsters. Come to face front of the mat or your space, bringing the right leg in front, and the left leg is slightly bent to the side. Good. Here we're going to start to open the hips and pelvis. So as you inhale here, you're going to just shift the knees up and down to the other side. Inhale, up, and then down. You can take the arms with you here, or you can keep the arms behind the body for a little bit more support. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Good. And if the knees are not cooperating here, you can go ahead and come to stand. If that's working, go ahead and keep the positioning there. And you can just bend the knee in and straighten. And then bend the knee in and straighten. I'll do that facing you. Just bending one knee inward and then rotating. Getting similar benefits of the rotation of the femur in the hip sockets. So continuing on the floor if that's where you are, or standing if that feels better. Just a few more breaths here. One more time. Good. If you're on the floor, coming to hands and knees, we'll start to arch and round the spine, inviting some movement, exhaling and inhaling, arching on the inhale, curling the back on the exhale. Continue in this motion following your own breath. If being on your hands and knees is not accessible to you, feel free to come up using a wall or a chair in front of you, bending the knees slightly. Same motion, arching the spine and then extending the spine long. Exhale, rounding. Inhale, extending. Good, so using the back of a chair is nice support here, or hands to the wall. Few more rotations. Arching and rounding the spine. Then come back down to the floor. Arching and rounding. Come back to a neutral spine. Tuck the toes with your inhale breath. As you exhale, come into downward facing dog. Widening the shoulders, take an even weight between hands and feet with the sit bones reaching up towards the sky. Release the head and widen the shoulders. Pedaling out the heels to lengthen the backs of the legs. Keep going in that motion. Again, if you're not going down to the floor, staying with your hands on the back of a chair here and just lengthening the spine. Here again, you can bend and straighten the knees. Lengthening the backs of the legs into the hamstrings and the hips. That's it. Yes. Great opportunity to restore, revitalize, and reset the body. Coming back down to the floor, but staying with your hands on the chair if that's what's accessible to you today. Slowly walking the feet forward to the top of the mat. Placing the hands on top of the thighs. Little bend in the knees, rolling all the way up to standing. Inhale, everyone can join me here. Straightening the legs, pressing the feet down into the earth and stretching the arms up towards the sky. Grabbing onto the right wrist, press the right leg down, lean to the left. That's it. So I'm mirroring you here. Feeling a nice long extension in the side body. If this is too much stretch in the shoulders, you can always bend the elbow so that there isn't too much extension or compression in the shoulder joint. From here, we're going to add a little lean to the side. So the hips are just extending a little further to the right. That's it. Good. And inhale, return to center. Palms come to touch. Gazing up towards the hands. Exhale, forward bend. Bring the hands down to the floor. If the floor is not accessible, bring your hands up to some kind of support. Inhale, lengthening the spine. Feel the top of the head reaching forward, the hips crease and reach back behind you. Little bend in the knees to keep the knee joint safe and from hyperextension. Exhale, release it down. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, lengthening the spine. Make sure that the neck isn't getting overextended. Bring the chin slightly in towards the chest. Exhale, release down. Inhale, lengthen the spine. And exhale, release it down. From here, place the hands on top of the thighs, a little bend in the knees, rolling all the way up to standing. That's it. Go ahead and inhale, stretch the arms all the way up. Repeat the side stretch on the other side. Inhale, breath. As you exhale, grabbing onto the left wrist this time, pressing down with the left foot, leaning away. That's it. So here we're expanding the space of the rib cage. These muscles can compress and they can shorten our breath. So by creating more space here and space between the rib cage and the pelvis, we have more opportunity to take a deep breath. By taking a deep breath, it automatically brings us into the present moment, reminds us of what we have to be grateful for, a natural upwelling of thankfulness, happiness, and joy. That's it. Leaning slightly away. Take a break if this is getting to be too much. And then inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, diving forward. All the way forward towards the toes. Release the head forward and grab onto the elbows. Using the weight of the head to create some traction. Releasing and creating space in the spine. Make sure that you're not leaning too far back in the heels, shifting the weight more forward, bending the knees if you need some release in the hamstrings and or low back. Deepening your breath. Tuning into the beating of your heart. Movement of blood and fluid through the body. Sensations of your hands touching your skin, the clothes touching your body. Just deepening overall awareness. Releasing the arms, placing the hands to the top of the thighs if that feels supportive. Otherwise, stretching the arms straight to the side and all the way up overhead. Bring the hands down in front of the heart. Stepping the feet wide on the mat, little dynamic twisting. We're going to inhale, twist to the left, exhale, twist to the right. If you want to go more quickly with this twist, you can do an inhale, inhale, exhale, exhale. Just kind of play with this. Fun and releasing, a bit energizing. It gets to be too much in the shoulders, just slow down the propulsion of the twist. Nice way to wring out any excess tension in the spine. I always find this kind of continuous motion brings a smile to my face. It's kind of hard not to. It's hard to stay serious when you're twisting like a helicopter side to side. Tuning into that beautiful childlike curiosity and fun. And slowly coming down, slowing down the propulsion and the twist. And coming back to center. Keep the feet wide and the hands pressing together, especially if you're feeling dizzy. Feet nice and wide. Turn the toes out about 45 degrees. Inhale, stretch the arms up to the sky. As you exhale, palms face down, bend the knees over the toes and center the energy. Inhale. We've just created all this dynamic energy. Really use the muscles in the thighs to support you, and then exhale, bending the knees over the toes. Inhale 2 more times. Exhale. Last time, inhale. And exhale. Turn towards the front of your mat. Set the right leg behind the left leg in front. Coming into a little lunge position here, a high lifted lunge. Inhale with both legs straight. Exhale, gentle bend in both knees. Inhale and exhale. This is a nice place if you're feeling unstable. Use your hand against a wall. If you're a little more advanced and feeling like a challenge, we're gonna add the arms. Inhale and exhale, bring the arms down. And then you can deepen the bend in the knees. So it's very adaptable, sort of a sample plate of different options. And exhale. And you might find on different days, you're feeling different. So paying attention to how your body's feeling just now. One more breath and exhale. Keep both knees bent. Move through the center, big bend in the knees, goddess pose. Bring the hands into cactus arms. Big stretch arms and legs. Turn to face the back of your mat. So this time the right leg is in front, the left leg is behind. Use the wall for some support. Inhale. Exhale, bend the knees. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, bend. Inhale, lengthening the legs. Exhale, deepen. Inhale, stretch. Adding the arms if you feel like a challenge. Exhale. One more. Inhale. And exhale. Keep the knees bent, transition through the center. This time, stretch the legs with the hands still at the waist. Turn the toes so they're facing to the side, straight forward. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale, bending forward. Keeping the hands at the thighs or using some support underneath the hands or down to the earth, down to the ground. So lots of different modifications. And if this feels like it's too much, using the back of a chair is a nice option as well, or a wall. So here we're going to start to bend and straighten as we shift the hips from side to side. Kind of doing a nice stirring motion with the hips and pelvis. Kind of discovering anything else that might be restricted or stuck. Allowing the energy to flow freely through this area of your body. Closing the eyes, going deep inside. And slowly coming back to center. Moving the bolster away. Coming all the way down onto your mat. Any which way that feels good. Coming into our last pose. Again, a couple different variations. This is fire log pose or Agni Stambhasana. If you're familiar with this pose, you can go ahead and bend the left knee, bring the right ankle on top, and find a nice balance of hips and pelvis, making sure that the ankle is stacked on top of the knee and the knee is stacked on top of the ankle. That's it. If this is not accessible to you, a couple different variations. So you can go ahead and cross one ankle over the top. This time we'll do the left ankle on top of the right knee and then lean back. Or if this is too much as well, you can also go down onto the back and bring the knee into the chest. Again, this can be done on a supported surface like a bed if getting down to the floor is difficult. So go ahead and choose the variation that works for you today. You're going to find a few moments of stillness in this pose. Going deep into the hips and pelvis. Listening to the flow of the breath and allowing the breath to lengthen in and out through the nose. That sound that we can create by slightly constricting the throat to help lengthen the breath. It's a sound that calls us back to ourselves. It's a remembrance of all of the goodness, the positivity, the beauty that lies within us. Reminds us to cultivate that, to harvest that, and then to share it. Continuing with the breath, releasing in the hips and pelvis, opening of the heart. Inhale, return to a neutral spine. Releasing the legs and allowing the knees to fall from side to side. Just to flush out any excess tension in the hips, inner thighs, outer thighs. That's it. We'll go ahead and repeat on the other side. So choose your variation. And then move into the sensation in the body. Not using this time to tune out, to go to a place other than where you are right now. This is the reality. This is not the fantasy. This is not the vacation. This is not the oasis. This is what you have access to all the time. You have challenge. You have times where things are difficult in relationships within yourself and the environment around you. How are you facing those challenges? Are you running away? Are you tuning out? Are you resorting to old habits? Or are you being very present and real and authentic? Sharing your compassion, your empathy, your true, deep understanding. This is your opportunity to practice. That is why we call it a yoga practice. Deepening your breath. Next, inhale, returning to a neutral spine, releasing the legs and allow the knees to drape from side to side. And when you're ready, go ahead and return to a seated position. So seated might be on the floor, might be in a chair, might be on your knees as well. You can also use some support underneath the hips to give a little lift to the pelvis. So we're going to end doing some pranayama, some breathing practice. This is a 3-part breath. You feel the breath originating from the very base of the body, drawing up to the belly button, up a little bit higher to the solar plexus. The last level is all the way up to the top of the shoulders and the neck. And then in one fell swoop, we allow the breath to descend back down. So let's begin. Going to inhale to the base of the body. Draw the breath up to about the belly button, just the waist. Increase the breath up to the solar plexus. And then again, all the way up to the top of the shoulders. And slowly release the breath back down. And again, inhale. 1, 2, 3, and soften as you release. Expanding the capacity of your breath. Inhale. 2, 3, full exhale. Last time, 1, 2, and 3. Fully release. Release any stale air, all of those emotions and challenges in the body and mind that are no longer necessary. You can let them go. You don't need to hang on to them any longer. Softly opening the eyes, draw the hands together at the heart. Please join me in one round of Om. The sound Om is this resonance, this vibration that connects us to our deepest self and then expands and connects us to each other. So please join me or just enjoy the vibration as you listen. Deep inhale. Sending you blessings these coming holidays, reminding you that this place of peace, this place of compassion, understanding, and joy is accessible at any moment. It's just a breath away. The light in me honors the beautiful light within you. Namaste.